All right, guys. Hi, everyone. This is Ketan here. I have two students from SDA Bocconi with me, Rohan and Nishtha. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Fine. Okay. So this entire session or video is about getting to know SDA Bocconi a little bit better, apart from what's there on the website. And we will be asking, I'll be asking certain questions to my students out here, and we'll hear it from them. Okay, so Rohan and Nishtha, welcome to the session. Thank you so very much for taking some time out. In बच्चों का exam चल रहा है यार, फिर भी आज आए हैं. That's the love towards B school. So yeah, so Rohan, to begin with you, would love to hear your profile first, because SDA Bocconi is all about profile, and people do get scholarships and all that. So would love to hear from you your profile, and if you get a scholarship, and then we'll go to Nishtha. Rather, we'll do ladies first. Nishtha, please continue. You can go ahead.
Thank you, Rohan. So you already know my name, Nishtha, and I'm 24 years old, and I'm in the second year, so my MBA is almost over. Before coming to SDA Bocconi, I did my undergraduation from Symbiosis, and I majored over there in marketing. Apart from that, I also have a year-long experience in marketing, so that was also before joining SDA Bocconi. I entered SDA through the Bocconi test, and so I'm one of the few students who actually gave the Bocconi test and then entered. There are multiple ways through which people can actually join SDA Bocconi. As for my profile, apart from this, I'm also an avid freelancer. So over the course of the last 2 years, I've done a little bit of marketing for some companies, just to understand how the world outside these schools actually works. And it was really interesting to see how far I could apply my knowledge that I've learned over here in the real life. And you were talking about the scholarships. So I got the 30% bracket scholarship, and along with that, I also received the women in, I don't remember the exact terminology for it.
But yeah, for leadership role and everything, right?
Yes, women in leadership role scholarship.
Perfect. So in total, what was the first, like 30 plus women, like, or?
Yes, it was 30 plus women.
Wow. Great. You must be very happy, yeah? Yeah, because I think the fees is around about 8.5 lakh, which includes Milan thing. By the way, we'll talk about Milan thing also. So, so that's what makes you your expenses, go down. That doesn't give you a lot of burden anyway. I think that's the best thing about SDA Bocconi, because they offer a lot of scholarships. Rohan, what about you, buddy?
Sure. So I am currently 22 years old. I'm in my first year, so it's almost coming to an end. So I'll be going to my second year in SDA Bocconi.
Okay.
Now, I done my graduation from Christ in Bangalore. So I done a BCom plus specialization in finance. Now, apart from that, I come from a defense background. My dad's in the army. So my schooling was pretty much around the entire country per se. And I don't have any sort of work experience, but I had taken a 1-year drop before the master's during that COVID phase which had come in. So I had done 2 internships during that time, as my main motive was to shift my field to marketing instead of finance. So I had done a few internships in marketing to kind of gauge what I like and which area do I want to go into. During my graduation, I had built up my profile in terms of culturals also. So I was a very active person in terms of sports, and I had my cultural team plus a band. So I'd basically tried to build a holistic this thing. And yeah, apart from that, in terms of scholarship, so I had come in through NMAT plus the Bocconi test. So accumulation of both. And I got a scholarship of 50%.
Wow, that was a tuition waiver, right?
Yeah, that was a tuition waiver.
Perfect. So 18 se the 9 lakhs. Wow, that's a good thing. Perfect. So you guys are in second year. How has your experience been with Bocconi, number one? And also want to understand, did you guys leave any other B school and join SDA Bocconi? I want to understand that. Again, the same order. Nishtha, you go first.
So I'm in the second year and Rohan is in the first year. Just wanted to clarify that. I think that got messed up. So actually for me, the experience was very different from what Rohan will tell you, because I am the only batch at SDA Bocconi that has actually never seen the campus until now. Some of us are now in campus and others are back at home. And to be very honest, it was extremely immersive. There was never a day where I thought that, my MBA is going to a waste, because that's the feedback I get from my peers at other B schools. That they feel like being at home, they feel a little lethargic, but at SDA everything has been, they know how to keep you on your foot and make sure that you're learning, you're grasping the knowledge to best of your abilities. Apart from that, my experience, so I would like to talk about two things. So one was, when the fact that we get to learn from a plethora of faculty. So the faculty is all from SDA Bocconi Milan campus, and then some of them are also Indian faculty. But then the Milan-based faculty, they are all they're obviously PhD professors with their own rich career history. So you get to learn. So like my mom likes to say, it's like you're learning 20 years of education that one person is bagged up in the span of 2 years. So that was the one thing. The other thing is the Milan experience. So we were lucky enough to get to go to Milan in October. So Milan semester happens from September to January, but then due to the COVID situation, we could go around October, and over there we got to be in cross-cultural classes. So all our classes had students from Italy, but also students from China. One of my groups had a girl from China, another one from I think Switzerland, and then a whole lot of Italians. So you get to learn a lot about their culture, how business happens in an on an international front. So that was great, and also you get to have a whole lot of pizza. So that's always a plus.
So just to add this, you've done your graduation from SIMBI, right?
Yes.
Was it BBA, SIMS?
BBA. SCMS.
SCMS, perfect. So Symbiosis, even the same thing happened to us. Like, when I was in Symbiosis for my commerce thing, had a lot of students from across around about 70 to 80 countries. So that cultural thing, it actually helps you. It also helps you to understand the mindset of, particular region. So always there is a combination, European will think in a different way, Asian will think in a different way. So wo maze aate the. Plus, for the fact, we've worked in a couple of countries. So you can relate कि यार काम करने के तरीके लोगों के अलग-अलग होते हैं. And in SIMBI, there is also ISEC, right? That NGO. So I was a part of ISEC. I was leading for Maharashtra region. So we had great time, knowing these people around, and वो actually एक sort of हमारे MBA का एक base बना देता है. And actually interview a lot of people, because understanding human psychology is one of the most important thing during MBA. But I think I was exposed to it a little bit earlier. So I think that's a great value addition. So just to ask one more question, maybe Rohan can answer this, or probably you can answer this. There is a lot of excitement about this Milan thing and all that. Apart from this cross-cultural things, how different are those 2, 3, 4 months, when you do a semester over there? How does it feel to have that international faculty standing in front of you and learning from that person vis-a-vis the Indian faculty?
So it's very different. First of all, so I'll take that question up because Rohan is yet to have his Milan semester. But you'll have a lot of fun, Rohan, and a lot of... Anyway, so coming to the main factors, point number one, Indian faculty, we tend to be focused more on the theoretical aspects of things. Whereas with them, you get to learn about, they'll always take reference to companies that they're working with currently, or they're consulting. And one of my subjects, which was around luxury management, in that we actually had a live project with Swarovski, and we had to come up with, how will they go ahead and change their entire branding image. And to do that live and to hear live feedback from the company, people who are actually implementing it, you get to understand, okay, so this works in theory, but this is what Porter says, but then this is what actually happens.
Perfect.
And that's a huge plus. Apart from that, you get to learn a lot about yourself. So I have personally never lived outside my home before that. And then you get to live in a foreign country. You have to manage everything on your own. So you become more responsible, you become more independent, and it changes you as a person.
Perfect. 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 Anything else from your side, Rohan, about SDA Bocconi?
So I think to a certain extent, Nisha has covered most of it, especially when it comes to the how the classes were held online and how the faculty is. And I completely agree to the fact that the way they teach, the way the classes are conducted is so different from what you would imagine on a usual day.
Okay.
It's almost like, so for example, we have a 3-hour session of each subject per day. Now,
3
to any
hours.
person, yeah, so that's the thing. So 3 hours sounds like it's going to be torture. But at the end of the day, you have case studies in between that, you have group work in between those sessions. So it's almost like a constant feedback kind of a thing where you're being taught, you're being tested, and you actually get the feedback on the basis of your performance right then and there. So it's almost like a sort, I won't say corporate experience, but very close to what can be offered in a B school. Now, again, I started my classes online itself. So initially, I would say starting your master's, starting your MBA, it was a scary thing. It's overwhelming, to be honest. It kind of caught me off guard because I was not sure what I was getting into. But the kind of culture at SDA, it just puts you in a different kind of zone. Like the moment I got in, I wanted to build my profile on my own. So it's not only that they're spoon feeding you things, they'll guide you in step. For example, we were connected to our seniors, they were telling us things they've done. And it's all integrated and so well connected that you feel like doing more than you have been doing before this. So I think that's something that stands out for me personally. And again, we started our offline classes in Feb itself. And I'm glad that we started it because honestly, it's a completely different kind of experience to just be on campus, actually interact with the teachers because they're so open to even getting your suggestions on things. It's not like they're teaching you. It's almost like both the parties are learning. Because to a certain extent, they come from, let's say they come from Italy. And the kind of cases they have, they adapted to the Indian economy to a certain extent. You try to give your feedback, they give their feedback, and it's also well integrated. So I think for me, that has been one of the best parts of the experience is to actually have that constant feedback kind of a system with
Right.
the teaching faculty.
I think this one point is very important, like what Nishta said and what you said. It's a global world now. Think globally, apply locally. So I think that's the beauty, when you learn it on an international level, like CC talked about, right? There are different brands like that. And that is a learning which is, I think, is required for Indian kids, as far as their MBA is concerned. We all know Walmart is a great success across the world, but it was a great failure in Germany, right? Why it happened, how did they got dumped? I think that's where these kind of thing come into picture. When you need to understand the international economy, the international customers. I think that's the good thing. Whichever the B school is doing that, I support it because I think that's the fabulous thing that students are learning. You guys had any other calls, any other converts over and above which you came to SDA Bocconi?
So I'll take that first as mine was more recent. So I had SIMS, which was one call I had. Then I had IPS. And I'm not able to recall which one, but I had a second campus of NIPS. So out of these three, I had taken like these three which were in consideration. Maybe there were a few more, but then again, these three were the ones I had taken into consideration. And then from these, I chose SDA because I don't know. I personally felt it was a very unique course in terms of how a B school operates and how the entire structure is. And that's something which excited me. Like I wanted to step out of what was already being done or what was common. And for some reason, the culture and having interacted with students from all these schools, this was something which pulled me towards it.
So for me, like I already told you, Keaton, that I never actually appeared for CAT. So the reason behind that was that I planned to pursue my master's abroad. But then because COVID hit right at that point, I wasn't able to leave India. My parents were a bit concerned about, leaving India and then getting stuck there. And it didn't make much sense to me to spend so much and then go abroad. And then not even go abroad, just study online through those colleges. So that's when I came across SDA Bocconi. A friend of mine had actually told me about it when I had started my preparations, and it's the only college that applied to in India. And then I got through it. So here we are.
So guys, those who have not given CAD or those who have not done great in CAD, you guys still have some time in your hand wherein you can go for SDA Bocconi test. I'm very sure she's got a fabulous profile. Even Rowan has a great profile. So those who are listening to these, students out here, those who are actually planning for SDA, don't worry, your scores in the examination will not be an hindrance if you're really, really keen on getting into this. Last question for both of you. All the kids who are now looking forward for SDA Bocconi and want to join SDA Bocconi or looking forward to be your junior, tell them the X factor about SDA Bocconi that they are going to be witnessing if at all they join SDA Bocconi. What's that?
So I'll go first. Needless to say, Milan semester is the best icing on cake that anyone could ask for. Secondly, the kind of peers you get to interact with. So on a day-to-day basis, we interact with people who are KPMG, Microsoft, Accenture, but also who come from startup backgrounds. Also, there are people who are not actually based out of India currently, they're studying abroad, but they're part of the SDA Bocconi batch. So kind of interactions you have, the way that molds you to do better in your assignments, in your life, that's the X factor.
Okay, perfect.
So I think adding on to that, obviously those things are part of the main aspect of the X factor of SDA Bocconi. And one thing which personally invites me to it was that most of the things that happen in the college are student-led. So it's almost like you're learning on the go. So we have all our committees, we have academic committees, we have TEDx, we have MediaCom, we have PlaceCom, and all these activities are committees of first year. It's like the moment we got in college, we were put in the committee, so you're given the job, and we were told to figure the ropes out. So I think that's a very good way of teaching someone, especially if they want to get into management in any form, to actually put them in the running and make them figure out how to play around with things. So I think anyone who thinks they have the drive in themselves to actually take things forward on their own, this is the perfect place to be because the opportunities are endless.
I'll actually like to add to what Rohan just said. I'm sorry for interrupting the treatment. But so when I joined SDA, I was just taken aback with the kind of environment because I was expecting more of spoon feeding. And I remember, so we have PlaceCom interviews followed by the media committee interviews and then the club interviews. That's how it usually goes. So I sat with the PlaceCom rounds, and the way the seniors were conducting themselves at that point of time, they were already. It was like you're talking to somebody who has like maybe 20 or 30 years of experience under their belt, and the kind of way they conducted themselves, they were friendly yet like guiding forces at the same time. I ended up joining the placement committee and getting selected for it, and the past 2 years have again changed me with the way I look at things. Definitely you can handle pressure better. I'm sure Rohan can second that. By the end of first year itself, you can handle pressure better, but you also know how to communicate in a way that you get your point across while still not instigating the other person. And the transparency in the entire placement process. I know a lot of students in India, why they join, the only reason why they join a particular college is the placements. So the kind of transparency around it is impeccable. So anytime any student really has a doubt about, okay, well, is there a chance that this company might come, or what are the companies that we're looking at, you can reach out to the CDX committee or the PlaceCom committee, and it's all very student friendly.
Perfect. I think you guys have done a phenomenal job as far as the placements are concerned for this year. The highest is around about 36 lakhs. I was just checking out the reports. So yeah, great work, guys, and thank you so very much for taking some time out during your exam period. Means a lot. I'm very sure with this video, I think a lot of students out there will get a clear idea. What the college is about. So thanks a ton for that. And I wish you all the very best. I wish you all the very best, Nishtha, for your corporate journey, and Rohan for your second year, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you, Ketan.
Thank you.
It was lovely to interact with you.
Bye-bye. Bye.